Princess Beatrice breaks silence on her father. She has watched her father transform from a decorated war hero into the most investigated man in the entire history of the British royal family, and she has done most of it in near-complete silence. Not a single public word spoken directly about the man who built and then burned the York family name to the ground. But silence is not the same as indifference. And at 37 years old, Princess Beatrice is finally running out of road to stay quiet. What she knows about her father is far darker, and far more personal, than anything you have read before. The day everything accelerated. On October 30, 2025, King Charles did something that had not been done in over a century of British royal history. He stripped his own brother of everything. Every title. Every honor. Every military rank. The Duke of York title was gone. The rank of prince was gone. The Knight of the Garter was gone. The eviction from Royal Lodge was served the same morning. In a single day, Andrew went from being a prince of the United Kingdom to being a private citizen with a criminal investigation closing in on his name. Then came February 19, 2026. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor was arrested on his 66th birthday on suspicion of misconduct in public office, the first senior British royal to be arrested in nearly 400 years. Released from custody 11 hours later under investigation, he was neither charged nor exonerated. The allegation at the heart of his arrest was that he had shared confidential trade information with convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein while serving as a UK trade envoy. Specifically, some of the released Epstein files appeared to show him forwarding reports about official visits to Vietnam, Singapore, and other countries, and seeking Epstein's views on investment opportunities in Afghanistan's Helmand province. Somewhere in London, a 37-year-old woman who had spent years quietly trying to protect that man's reputation watched her father's mugshot moment play out in real time. What happened next tells you everything about the impossible position Beatrice now occupies. The hero Beatrice grew up believing her father was. There is a version of Prince Andrew that the British public has almost entirely forgotten, and it is the version Princess Beatrice was raised to believe in. In the spring of 1982, Andrew was 22 years old, flying anti-submarine missions in the Falklands War. Queen Elizabeth personally overruled the cabinet's request to reassign him to a desk job. He flew casualty evacuations under fire. He hovered his helicopter near Royal Navy vessels to act as a decoy for incoming Argentine Exocet missiles. When the container ship Atlantic conveyor was struck and 26 sailors needed rescuing, Andrew was part of the crew that pulled them from the water. He came home to crowds lining Portsmouth Harbor. The nation celebrated him as a legitimate hero. Princess Beatrice was born in August 1988. That version of her father already existed before she arrived. She did not invent her admiration. She inherited it from a country that once genuinely shared it. The man behind the title. Royal biographer Andrew Loney spent 4 years and over 300 interviews compiling what became one of the most damning portraits of private royal behavior ever assembled. Staff described a man who kept 72 cuddly toys arranged on his bed in strict size order, with new employees receiving a full day of training on their correct placement. He dismissed a staff member for wearing a nylon tie. He fired another for having a mole on his face. British diplomats who watched him operate as Special Trade Envoy gave him an unofficial nickname, HBH. His Buffoon Highness. The period of Andrew's life that has generated the most lasting damage to the York family name was his decade as the United Kingdom's Special Representative for International Trade and Investment, from 2001 to 2011. In Kazakhstan, he cultivated a friendship with Timur Kulibayev, the son-in-law of President Nazarbayev. Kulibayev later purchased Andrew's Berkshire mansion for £15 million against a professional market valuation closer to £8 million. WikiLeaks cables captured Andrew at a private brunch in Kyrgyzstan, speaking cockily about British anti-corruption investigators and attacking journalists for poking their noses everywhere. A Libyan associate named Tarek Kaitouni, convicted in France of smuggling a submachine gun, gave Princess Beatrice an £18,000 diamond pendant as a gift for her 21st birthday. He was later invited to Princess Eugenie's wedding. At the time, there was no reason for a young woman to question a gift from her father's friend. Years later, with everything that has since come to light about who these people were, the picture has shaken Beatrice deeply. The official documents relating to Andrew's trade envoy activities will not be released to the public until the year 2065. Whatever they contain, the British government has decided the public should not see them for another 4 decades. Now, those same years have become the subject of a criminal investigation, and emails appear to show him forwarding confidential government reports to Epstein, information potentially covered by the UK's Official Secrets Act. The interview Beatrice made happen. In November 2019, the BBC's Newsnight had been pursuing an interview with Andrew for months. 3 days before filming, Princess Beatrice arrived at the pre-interview negotiation uninvited. She believed, with the conviction of someone who genuinely loved him, that giving her father the opportunity to speak directly to the public was the right thing to do. Producer Sam McAllister described Beatrice as the rainmaker, super polite, super nice, super friendly, but the person who had her father's interests purely at heart. Royal expert Helena Chard said Beatrice reassured Andrew that all would be well. On November 16, 2019, Prince Andrew sat across from journalist Emily Maitlis and delivered what communications professionals have unanimously described as one of the most catastrophic television appearances by a public figure in the entire history of British broadcasting. The Pizza Express alibi. The claim that Falklands adrenaline had left him temporarily unable to sweat. The statement that he did not regret his associations with controversial figures because they had been useful for business opportunities. Within 24 hours, he had announced his resignation from public duties. Within 6 years, he had lost every title, honor, and official residence the Crown had given him and then been arrested. Beatrice was the person who made the interview happen. She has never spoken publicly about what she felt when she watched it air. But the documented record is unambiguous: the daughter who loved her father most, the one who walked into a room uninvited to protect him, handed him the platform that accelerated his destruction. What silence now costs. On February 19, 2026, on his 66th birthday, Andrew was taken into police custody, an event that sent shockwaves across the United Kingdom. King Charles said in a statement that he had learned with the deepest concern the news of the arrest, and that the law must take its course. In the weeks that followed, the consequences cascaded directly onto his daughters. With the agreement of King Charles, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie have made alternative plans for this Easter, absent from the royal family's gathering at Windsor. Royal expert Richard Fitzwilliams said plainly, "It has been clear for some time that the York brand is toxic." Meredith Constant told Fox News Digital that Buckingham Palace clearly feels they made a mistake when they quickly welcomed the women into the royal fold while stripping Andrew of his titles, adding, "They are creating distance to protect the whole. They don't want the visual reminders of the York family anywhere around the monarchy at the moment." The personal toll is mounting in ways that extend beyond protocol. Insiders told the Daily Mail that Beatrice's marriage to Edoardo Mapelli Mazzi has come under strain, with one source saying things haven't been great for a while and that Beatrice is desperate to hold things together. A separate source said Beatrice feels very raw and beside herself on so many levels. People magazine has disputed these claims, calling them complete nonsense. But the rumors themselves circulating at all illustrate the blast radius of a father's choices landing on a daughter's life. One source close to Beatrice said, "B has found the scrutiny very hard, especially the strain of the past few weeks. It has felt as though things have been in freefall." The same source added that Beatrice is keeping calm and carrying on, that she learnt a lot from her grandmother, Queen Elizabeth II. Reports have also emerged that Beatrice is considering a major move overseas, one that would make it almost impossible for her parents to visit her. And yet, she has not abandoned him. In January 2026, she was photographed horseback riding with Andrew in Home Park at Windsor Castle. Her 4-year-old daughter Sienna rode alongside them. Everyone involved knew those photographs would circulate. A source told The Sun, "It is completely untrue that she has cut him off." Former BBC royal correspondent Jenny Bond offered what may be the most human assessment of Beatrice's position. "Beatrice must have known she would very probably be seen out riding with him, so we can take this as an open show of loyalty. It must be incredibly difficult to see your parents so humiliated, isolated, and depressed." The position without precedent. At 37, Princess Beatrice occupies a place in modern royal history that has no map. She is the daughter of a man who has been formally stripped of his royal status, arrested by police, and whose official trade documents will not be released to the public for another 4 decades. She retains her own HRH title, her own princess status, and has continued building her professional life, launching Purpose Economy Intelligence Ltd., taking on new patronages, and speaking at global forums on climate and economic policy. Experts have suggested the sisters may even be considered for exile abroad, though there is no evidence of wrongdoing on their part. Royal expert Helena Chard noted, if they are anything like their mother, the Houdini of the royal family, they will bounce back as the dutiful, helpful royals they wish to continue to be. Body language analyst Judy James has observed Beatrice's public appearances throughout this crisis and found consistent evidence of extraordinary emotional control. Her smile at Christmas deliberately performed in a way that communicated resilience and possibly stoicism. In footage from the day of the formal detitling, James observed her looking tense, haunted and hunted. The deeper question the royal establishment has not answered, and that Beatrice herself has not been forced to confront directly, is what happens when the weight becomes too much to carry silently. For 37 years, silence has been Beatrice's protection. Her father has now been arrested. Her marriage is under scrutiny. She has been quietly removed from the Easter table. The investigation continues. This story is nowhere near finished. And when it finally does reach its conclusion, Princess Beatrice will be standing at the center of it, whether she chooses to be or not. Tell us in the comments, do you believe Beatrice will ever speak publicly about her father, or will she carry this silence all the way to the end?